大家好，我是本篇的作者彪洋洋。烦恼是人的常态，但有一种智慧，它直击烦恼的根本处，那就是人人本具的根本质。邀您一同感受文殊法教的不可思议。
今日共享主题：时间管理，全心管理。投稿人彪洋洋，工程监理咨询管理公司，监理工程师，福建。投稿日期2023年7月1日。以下让我们共享时间管理，全心管理。本集教学睿智的圣贤师父由第4代时间的全心管理法，以及强调心佛众生无二无别的宇宙全息观，阐述解深密经所云：任何一个来自有所得的证物，全是伪证。因为宇宙真理是法尔如是的如如不动，我人据此依止修行，而非强调自己的证悟。余生着感悟如下：现代管理学之父Peter Drucker 说，时间是最珍贵的资源，不能管理时间，便什么也无法管理了。量子纠缠推出零时间、零空间概念，时间像作为现象界一环，同为虚幻心的投射，必然是了不可得。所以，时间管理不应针对时间幻象本身，而是管理时间轴上我人心的活动，是为全心管理。这便是第4代时间管理的一大要进，它超越现象界的肤浅，更重要的是，它透过心的活动扎根万法的根本处，终极本质，同频感召相应量子纠缠，转化时间管理失衡与均衡的矛盾，化解紧张焦虑负能量，彰显心觉醒的心安定，同步指向全新的觉醒，是无所得的全面觉醒。量子纠缠业已证实，第4代时间管理所依止的时间也是了不可得。换句话说，它吹破一切有所得都是虚幻的。此与教学主题全面相应，可见第4代时间管理由现象界回归心，并深达灵性层面，契合量子力学家 Planck 所表达观点：心是物质母体，心的背后是念念相续的意识与心灵的智慧，与当今意识时代遥相呼应。以下让我们共享全息宇宙全面超越对立。宇宙全息观的 Universal Holographic Concept 指出，我人眼睛所见是量子光波强弱投射出来的坍塌态，全息宇宙是量子光波函数振幅与相位全方位投射的全息图，360度无死角，呈现本源整体信息的面目。地球万物，包括我人及所见所感知的非情众生，全都处在3维空间，这是针对光线的强弱所形成的投影。因此，我人所见的客观世界其实只是影像幻象。再者，我人个体既然是量子光波投射的影像体，那么任意为空间的存在物与宇宙本源光体实属同一本源的无二无别。我既是量子光波的一部分，因此我势必始终被宇宙本源长极光所照射，局部被投影的我就是整体的投影源。换句话说，投影与被投影的我是局部与整体的无尽融摄，是超越一切对立面的存在。这个论点自然吹破一切有所得的证物，因为一切是本来如是的存在，亦即法尔如是，何须假借证物而有所得？故解深密经指出，以有所得之心修正形而上圣义地理，并且宣说为有所得，是方向性根本错误，只因菩提相离，法尔如是，证物与否皆无所得，故所谓有所得，终将一无是处，了不可得。因而有所得思维是心外求法之相说，是外道邪见，与圣义地离言内证的特质相悖。以下共享圣玄结论：一花一世界，现象界与终极本质。恭喜学习轩优秀弟子彪洋洋多次上榜的殊荣。本文由全新的第4代时间管理以其宇宙全息观切入，做出跨界融合，不愧为时代宠儿五梯人才，值得赞叹。圣玄援引经典如下：一花一世界，羽山和尚语录云：一花一世界，一叶亦如来。经文教导，一花一叶都意指现象界的种种幻象，一世界一如来，则意指终极本质如如不动体性的寂灭空性。整句经文指陈代表局部的现象界与终极本质是一体的两面，是相互融摄的状态。以当今最前沿的宇宙全息观所教导，局部是高层宇宙投射的结果，也是二者内核实际的延伸。学习轩永远走在时代魅力前沿，即日起全面双语播出，用心教会全球每一位读者。学习轩是众生的直灯引路人。 Let's share today's topic, time management, mind management. Contributor Yami, supervising engineer, engineering supervision and the consulting company, Fujian Province. Submission date, the 1st of July, 2023. Let's share time management, mind management. In this episode teaching, the wise master Sanxiang elaborates on the profound management method of the fourth generation time, emphasizing the holistic view of the universe where the mind, Buddha, and sentient beings are inseparable. She elucidates the teachings of the Sutra of Perfect Enlightenment, stating that any realization that arises from attachment is false evidence, because the truth of the universe characterizing the Dharma, which is suchness itself, are moving and unchanging. We should rely on this as the foundation for our cultivation, rather than emphasizing our realization. With my limited understanding, I have come to the following insight. Peter Drucker, the father of modern management from Austria, once said, "Time is the most precious resource. If you can't manage time, you cannot manage anything." Quantum entanglement introduced the concept of zero space and zero time as a phenomenon in appearances. Time as an inherently unattainable projection of the illusory mind. Therefore, time management should not focus on the phenomenon of time itself, but rather on managing the activities of the individual's mind on the timeline, so-called mind management, representing significant leap forward in fourth generation time management. It goes beyond the superficially of the phenomenon realm. More importantly, through the activities of the mind, it's rooted in the fundamental essence of all phenomena, the ultimate nature. Through the quantum entanglement on the same frequency, it transforms the contradictions of time-balanced and balanced time management, resolves the tension, anxiety, and negative energy, and manifests the tranquil state of awakened consciousness, synchronously pointing towards the awakening of the mind, comprehensive awakening without grasping anything. Quantum entanglement has already confirmed that the time upon which fourth generation time management relies is also unattainable. In simpler terms, it reveals that all grasping is illusory, which aligns perfectly with the broad themes of this teaching. It is evident that fourth generation time management returns from the realm of appearance to the realm of the mind and delves deeply into the spiritual level. This aligns with the viewpoint expressed by quantum physicist Max Planck. Mind is the matrix of all matter, and behind the mind is the continuous succession of consciousness and spiritual wisdom. It resonates with the current era of consciousness. Let's share holographic universe, transcending opposite holistically. The universal holographic concept suggests that we see the collapsing state of quantum light waves projected in varying intensities with our human eyes. The holographic universe is a hologram that encompasses the quantum light wave functions, amplitude, and phase projected in all directions, without any blind spots, presenting the overall information of the source. Everything on Earth, including ourselves, what we see, and the projective as non-living being, all exist in three-dimensional space, a projection formed by the strength and weakness of light rays. Therefore, the objective world we perceived as human as an imaginary image. Furthermore, since we as individuals are projected image of quantum light waves, any existing entity in a dimensional space and the cosmic source of light is ultimately interconnected and inseparable. As a part of the quantum light waves, I am constantly illuminated by the eternal still light of cosmic souls, the localized projection of myself as the source of the whole projection. In simple terms, the projected me and the one being projected as an endless fusion and encompassment of the local and the whole, transcending all opposition. This argument naturally demolished all notions of attainment and realization, because everything exists as it is by the nature of reality. Why must one rely on attainment to gain something when everything is already inherently so? Thus, as stated in the Mahayana, cultivating the mindset of seeking attainment and striving to understand the ultimate metaphysical truth is fundamental misguided. It's directionally erroneous approach, because the nature of enlightenment is such that it transcends the concept of attainment. Whether one realizes it or not, the truth remains untouched. Therefore, pursuing attainment leads to nothingness, as it cannot be grasped or attained. Thus, the notion of attainment as a conceptualization that seeks something beyond the mind, representing a deviant view, the eternal pursuit of the Dharma, diverging from inherent nature of realizing the ultimate truth internally. Let's share one flower, one word, the realm of phenomena and the ultimate essence. Congratulations to Master Sangshan's outstanding disciple, soaring high for his repeated achievements on the rankings. The text, infused with whole mind of the fourth generation time management and the universal holographic concept, showcases remarkable cross-disciplinary fusion. This truly deserved the accolade of being a rising star of the era, a fine talent worthy of admiration. Master Sangshan cites the classics as follows: one flower, one word. In the recorded sense of Monk Yu San is stated: one flower, one word, one leaf, one Tathagata. The scripture teaches one flower and one leaf both refer to the various illusions of the phenomenon realm. One word and one Tathagata signified the ultimate nature of complete stillness and emptiness, devoid of inherent characteristics. The entire scripture conveys that the symbolic aspect of the localized phenomenon realm and the ultimate nature are two facets of the same entirety, mutually encompassing and integrating. This aligns with the teaching of the cutting-edge universal holographic concept. The localized aspect of results from the projection from the higher level cosmic reality and is an extension of the actual core of both space. The Enlightened Online, forever leading the charm of the times, officially launched overall bilingual broadcast dedicated to enriching every reader worldwide. The Enlightened Online, the guiding light for all beings.